Hello my dear students, welcome to our program for Science 6th primary stage. Today we have an important unit about what? About nervous system and locomotory system. So we have today the first lesson of this year. Let's go to see our lesson today and concentrate with me very well. It's very important to you. Let's start. First thing here we have Unit 4, Lesson 1, Nervous System. What about nervous system? And what are the importance of this system? What is the function of each organ of this one? Let's go to see here. First thing we have the nervous system, it's what? It receives information from environment around us and from our bodies. Then it's very interrupted this information and makes the body response to it. What's meant by this? We have receptors that found in our bodies that makes receiving anything that happened around us in our environment or inside our body. For example, we have many things. How can you see? How can you hear anything? How can you smell or taste or touch anything around your environment? Let's go to see this nervous system. Is very important system for us. It adjusts what? Adjusts our movement. It protects us from harmful things and make us feel pain. If you have stomach pain, if you have headache, if you have any pain of your arm or on your legs. So it makes us solve any problems and learn. So this is about the nervous system function of our body. It's very important, or the importance of this part. So here we have the importance of this part. It's about what? About control any function around us or any function that happened by our organs and our systems in the same time. So here it adjusts what? It adjusts responses that requires the emotions. Emotion, it means what? It means here the motion here or the energy that's happened inside our body to make us move. So it makes what? It makes us happy. We have sad or angry or calm or anything like this. So the very important system of our body. If I have no part of this system, what will happen? I have no emotion. I have no kinetic energy. I have no any type of activity that happened by my body. So here this adjust the responses that requires emotion, the feeling of our body or feeling between us that makes us happy, that makes us sad, makes us angry and calm and feeling what? Feeling cold, feeling hot, feeling anything of this. So another part or another important thing about this system, it's oversees and regulates the multiple function so performed by what? By the human body, such as moving, such as feeding, such as digestion and respiration process. So they are the process here. These processes, they are very important to us. So here this is the nervous system control all functions, control all activities of our body. So it is very important one. So here we have what? We have a part of our body that makes what? That makes our system. It's very important for us. Why? Because the nervous system, it's very important system to make any activity in our body. So this system, it's what? It's a very important one to make our activities. Like what? Like feeding. If you have the food and you need to eat it, you have the food and one of them don't like this food and other one I like this food, so you can eat the food that you like it. And we have another thing. If I have, for example, if I have stagnant water or dirty water, can you drink it? No. Why? Because our nervous system that makes the responses for what? For smelling. It is a bad smell. Don't near or don't close this cup of water. So it's very important to protect us from any dangerous or any harms that found in our body or our environment around us. Let's go to see another part about this one. So here we have the structure of nervous system. The structure of nervous system, it means I need to know any part or every part of this nervous system. Let's go to see this one. It is like this. So here the nervous system, it's two major system. It's which are peripheral nervous system, and we have central nervous system. Okay, so the nervous system here, it has two main parts. Number one, central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Central, it means from its name, it's it's the axial one, or it's found in our center of our body. And we have peripheral, it's branched one. So peripheral nervous system, it's one of the parts of the central nervous system, and the other one is peripheral one. And here we have the neuron. Neuron, it means what? It's the building unit of our nervous system and called nerve cell or neuron. Again, we have neuron here. Neuron, it means the nervous system cell or the building unit of our nervous system, and is called nerve cell or neuron. So here, this is neuron. It has what? It has a type of parts like this. So here we have the first part. We have the axon, and it's what? It is axial part that found in the nerve cell or neuron. So here we have the first one. Here we have the body cell. It's like our hand, and we have our hand. It has what? It has fingers. So the fingers here, it's like the branches here that called dendrites. So again, we have the body cell, the first one at left hand side. We have what? We have the body and body cell that contains a nucleus inside. And the other one, we have extended part that called axon. And after that, we have the last part at right hand side. We have what? We have, this is the terminals here. So the terminals here in the right hand side, it's the last part of this neuron. So here, this one, it makes a connection with another cell to make what? To make tissues very good. Why? Because the cells in our brain, we have tissues. So the tissues here, it's very important to make connection between each other. And the axon in the middle between these two sides, we have what? We have a myelin sheath. So the myelin sheath, it means what? The cover or fatty cover. That's what? That cover the axon to protect it from what? From any danger, from any damaging. So it is the structure of what? Of the neuron. So we have another thing about this structure. Let's go to see it. So here the cell body. Cell body here, it means it contains a nucleus and other organelles, and that's what? That's surrounded by the granular cytoplasm. And the second one, we have the axon. Axon here, it means what? It means it is along a single fiber that carries nerve impulses. The meaning here of nerve impulses, it means the charges of the electric energy that found in our body. Mister, we have electric energy inside my body? Yes. Why? Because it needs this electric energy to pass from what? From the part of nerve cell to another part to another nerve cell to make the connection between the nervous system to move away your hand from danger, or you move your body away from anything that harm you. And after that, we have what? We have myelin sheath. And myelin sheath, it means it's a thick insulating layer around the axon that has high electrical resistance or resistance. And we have this one or this part, that's what? Fatty part that make impulses faster than another neurons. And the last part here, we have dendrites. Dendrites are highly branched fibers that receive stimuli. What's meant by stimuli? Stimuli here, it means a very important thing around us, inside our body or outside our body, that we see it or hear it or anything or any activity that we have receiving here. So from the receptors or the stimuli here, receive the stimuli from receptors or adjacent neurons or another neurons, dendrites conduct impulses towards the cell body. So this is that every part of this one or the neuron, it is very important to study it. And we have many parts like this that makes what? That makes a function, a very important function to make what? To make the connection between the parts of our nervous system. So here again, we have the cytoplasm, and we have here, this is the nucleus, and the other one, we have dendrites here. It's like the branches or our, like what? Like our fingers. And here we have the myelin sheath. It's a fatty layer that cover the axon, and after that we have the axon terminal. They are the nerve endings here. Okay, so this part, it's called what? It's called the axon and its cylindrical axis, and we have the body cell that contains cytoplasm, the nucleus, and dendrites. So after that we have the central nervous system. It's one of its parts, the brain and spinal cord. So the central nervous system, it's a very important part, or the first main part of our nervous system. It has two parts, brain and spinal cord. So here we have what? We have the body of our human body, and here we have the brain in the first part here, and after that we have a very thin layer or a very thin part that found here from the brain to downward. Why? Because the brain, it is the first part of our nervous system, the central nervous system. And the second one we have here, this is what? This is the neuron, or the brain, it contains many neurons, millions of neurons, and we have the very thin parts like the pin, that's called spinal cord. Let's go to see the function of each one of them. So here the central nervous system, we have what? We have here the central nervous system. It's found, or it produced, or it's formed from what? From the central nervous system. It's made up of the brain, the first part here, and we have the spinal cord here. So the spinal cord, it's what? It is the part or the second part that extended from the brain to what? To the last part of our body. And we have, this is the brain and the spinal cord that coordinate responses via receptors, sensory nerves, motor nerves, and effectors. And the second part, it's what? It's the peripheral nervous system. Let's go to see it. So here the peripheral nervous system, it's branched part from the spinal cord and what? And the brain. Why? Because here the brain, it's a part that contains millions of cells and tissues. So we have the parts that found here or branched from the brain inside our head. It's called cranial nerves. It's a branched part. But we have another branching here that formed by what? That formed by or extended by spinal cord, that called spinal nerves also. Why? Because this is what? This is branched one. Peripheral nervous system, it is the second part of our body, second part of our the system, or that called nervous system. So here we have the two parts here. Number one, first or before this one, we have the brain and spinal cord, and after that we have the nerves or branches that move out from what? From the spinal cord and the brain to make what? To make this structure. Let's go to see the function of each one of them. So the organization of the nervous system. So here the nervous system structure or organization of the nervous system. It's what? The nervous system here, central part and peripheral part. The central part here, it contains brain and spinal cord. Don't forget this. And the peripheral nervous system, it has motor nerve and sensory nerve. and motor nerve here and sensory nerve. We have the motor nerve, it is autonomic or automatic motor nerves, and somatic, it means body or cellular. And we have the sensory. Sensory, it means consists of sensory nerves or sensory ends to make impulses from receptors to the central nervous system. And after that we have the autonomic one. Autonomic, it's what? It's sympathetic one. And we have parasystematic one. Because what? Because they are automatic. It is involuntary actions or involuntary activities of the glands or smooth muscles and what? And cardiac muscles. After that we have another important part, it's the brain. So we have the central nervous system, the first one here, we have the brain, and the structure of the brain like this one. So here the first part here of the brain, in the left hand side we have what? We have the structure of the brain. Brain, it is not the first part also, but we have what? We have, or it's the part that found here in our head. It has three main parts. Number one, in the upper part we have two cerebrum or cerebral hemispheres. Cerebral hemispheres, it means what? It means it's the biggest part of our brain that has neurons by large amount, and we have connected to each other, and it contains what? Contains the centers of five senses. Who can tell me the five senses here? Five senses, we have what? We have number one, we have here smell and seeing, hearing, touching, and what? And smell. So here this is what? This is the five senses that responsible by what? By this part that called cerebrum. And the second part we have what? We have two loops or two parts below the cerebrum that called cerebellum. Again, cerebellum, it's what? It's Latin language, and we must study it right in a right way and read it in a right way. So we have here the first part here. We have what? We have cerebellum. Cerebellum, it's responsible for a very important function. It's what? It's the balance of my body. And after that we have medulla oblongata. Again, medulla oblongata. It means the last part of our brain that responsible for involuntary actions like what? Like heartbeats, like what? Like respiration during sleeping, like anything that's happened in our body without control. So it is involuntary actions that controlled by what? By the medulla oblongata. In last time we have the structure is very important. Brain, it has three parts: cerebrum, cerebellum, medulla oblongata. Let's go to see the function of each one of them. So here the brain, or what? Or the first part, cerebrum, or two cerebral hemisphere, the outer surface of cerebral cortex, they the matter, it has gray matter. And the second one, we have fissure. Fissure, it means what? It means the separating part between them. So here, this is what? This is the white matter inside here, and we have the gray matter or dark matter that found here in what? In the brain. And we have this one, it's what? It's internal structure of the brain. After that, we have the function. Function here, it means what? It controls the voluntary actions or voluntary movements of what? Of the body, such as what? Such as many things: running, writing, eating, drinking, many things that happen by my mind. I need to make things, so what? So this activity happened or given an order by what? By the brain, and by the first part of the brain that called what? That called cerebrum. And they receive nerve impulses from senses. It's responsible for the centers of five senses. Like eyes, we have the organs of five senses: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. So each one of them: vision sense, hearing sense, smelling sense, and tasting sense, and the last one, touching sense, and send responses to what? To the impulses. And it has another thing like what? Like the impulses of thinking and memory. Here we have the nerve impulses. Click play to know or to learn about the impulses here. Impulse, it means what? We have the nerves, or neurons are not direct contact with what? With the other. There is the gap between them. So the neurons is called the